In this video, we're going to look at how to run the PhysioEx labs. When you log into the PhysioEx, you can access the labs two different ways. You can either log in here to physioex.com and then put in your username and password, or you can log in with a CD. To get your username and password, you would use the code that's on the inside cover of the PhysioEx book, or you would have a code that comes on a card depending on how you bought the program. If you bought a used book without a code and without a CD, then you didn't go through the Lake Region State College bookstore, and you really will need to do that, because sometimes people will sell just the used book without access to the program, and that doesn't do you any good. So once you're into the program, then you'll see a list of exercises. In Biology 220, we do exercise 1 through 3, and in Biology 221, we do exercises 4 through 12. So we will do all 12 of the exercises over the course of both terms. If you're only taking one of the courses with me, then you'll only do either 1, 2, and 3 for 220, or 4, 5, and 4 through 12 for 221. Regardless of which exercise you're doing, you'll access it the same way. When you're doing the exercises, the first thing you need to do is go into the class shell and find the lab directions. So the first lab that's done in 220 is exercise 1. The first lab in 221 is exercise 4. Either way, the directions on how to do the labs will be the same. I'm going to show the directions for 220. If you're in 221, you do the same thing, except you do exercise 4, and that would be under the endocrine unit. So if we look at how to access the directions, we go to the lab, in this case PhysioEx1 cell mechanisms, and it will give you the directions for how to do the lab. Do not just jump into the lab and assume that you know what you're doing, because you will have to do it again. Again, I'll say that do not jump into the lab without reading these directions, or you will have to do it twice, at least. So when you go into the directions, you're going to use either the CD or the website. Make sure you read all these directions. Everything has to be in Word. The reason for that is that Word gives me some metadata in the file information that I need for academic honesty reasons. If the assignment is not put into Word, it will be returned to you ungraded. When you're taking screenshots, they must show the full date, including the month, day, and year. On a Mac, you find that up here in the corner. On a PC, it's usually in the bottom corner. You can get the full month and date by right-clicking or control-clicking on a Mac to make it show all this information, or if it shows your name in the menu bar, then you would not need to show me the date or year, because I would be able to verify that it was you that way. PCs generally do not show the name, so you will need the year for that. If you do not have that showing, then contact me. You either right click and adjust the settings, or there are a couple other ways you can do that. But the screenshots have to show the month, date, and year. That's again for academic honesty reasons. If they do not show it, your lab will be returned ungraded and you will have to do it again. So it's better to stop right now if you don't know how to do it, figure out how to do it, rather than to go on, do it wrong, assume I'll take it, and find out I won't. So make sure you figure out how to do that. Whenever you take a screenshot, and I'll show you what I mean, it must be of the in-progress lab equipment, including the lab equipment. The reason for the screenshot is I don't grade the data on the screenshot, because everybody's data will be the same. The thing I look at on the screenshots are they are at different points each term, again for academic honesty reasons, so that they're not recycled from term to term, from student to student. If you need help figuring out how to do screenshots, there are a couple of websites here that can help you do screenshots. The best thing to do is practice doing a screenshot before you have to do it, so that you get all your points. Otherwise, again, I will return it to you ungraded, and that's for academic honesty reasons. It's not about not believing that you didn't do the lab. It's about because this program is a national program, and there are cheat sites out there where you can download the stuff. That's why I have to use my own for academic honesty reasons. So I am very particular about what gets turned in, just to keep everybody honest. When you answer the questions, these are the questions you answer. These 8 questions that are listed on the directions. When you do lab number 2, down here, let me figure out which unit's in this one. You'll have 6 questions. These are the questions you answer. All you turn in are the screenshots listed. There are 2 screenshots at the exact point where I want them. Again, that changes every term, so it has to be at that exact point to get the points and the answers to these questions. When you go into the directions, then it will always tell you which screenshots to take. You must take it at step number 39 of activity 1, or I will not take it. Again, I'm telling you this up front not to be picky, but because for academic honesty reasons, I've run into problems in the past, so I am very particular about what gets turned in. If you don't turn in the correct thing, I won't take it. So don't waste your time doing the wrong thing. Stop now. Get your questions answered before you go on. Okay, when you go into this to the activities, if we're doing exercise 1, when you click on the activity, it will have an overview of what the activity is about, and then each exercise has several activities. When I take a screenshot, here the first screenshot is screenshot after step number 39 of activity 1. So as you're going through activity 1, it will show you, it will read you the objectives, it will go through, as you go through this, I'm going to go through this really fast. Do not go through it this fast. You have to read all this stuff or you won't be able to answer the questions. And then it's going to take you into a pre-lab. As you go into the pre-lab and you answer these questions, you will not turn those into me. Those are for your own use. The only thing you'll turn into me are the 2 screenshots and the questions. Okay, now how do we get to the screenshots? As you go through, once you do the pre-lab quiz, you'll actually get into the experiment. In the experiment, you'll show the actual equipment. See, this is step number 1. And step number 1 will tell you to do something. Drag the 20 MWCO membrane to the membrane holder between the beakers. So it's going to have you do something. Here's the 20, so we're going to drag it over here. As you go through all the steps, you'll eventually get to step number 39, and that's where you'll take your screenshot. When you take your screenshot, you must include the actual lab equipment. This data will have been filled in by then, and you must include the date and the time, again for academic honesty reasons. If you do not turn in the 2 screenshots with the date and time and the questions, the answers to these 8 questions, you will not get your points and your lab will be returned to you. I do not want any of these post-lab quizzes or pre-lab quizzes. Again, the answers to those are available online. They don't tell me anything. All you have to do is Google them because it's a national program. I do not want this lab report. It will save it to a PDF, and it will save all of the results and the pre-lab quizzes and post-lab quizzes and all that. I don't want that because, again, you can get that online. It's not specific to your computer, and it doesn't give any identifying information about you. So, 5 people, 1 person could do it and share it among 5 people. That's not what I want. I want pictures of the actual experimental equipment with the date and time up here on a Mac, down here in a PC, and I want the questions answered to these 8 questions in a Word document. So you'll upload 3 things: the Word document and 2 screenshots. If you want, you can put the screenshots in your Word document. Sometimes students prefer to do that. That's fine. Or you can leave them separate. That I'm not concerned about. It sounds like I'm being really picky with this, but it's because of academic honesty reasons. Not that I think might happen, but that have happened in the past, and I've had to develop this system to counteract them. The PhysioEx program is an excellent program that allows you to do things on the computer instead of using things like frogs and cells in an actual lab. When I took physiology, we actually had to do the frogs and the membranes and the muscles in the actual wet lab. By using the system, you get to bypass the using of the animals, but I have to see that you've done it yourself. If you get stuck on any questions, give me a call, send me an email before you go on. If you get stuck, don't just say, "Oh, I'll figure it out later," or "I'll just do this and it'll be okay." It won't, and you'll be frustrated. So be sure to call me and let me know if you get stuck.